I am joined by Grant KGD Dawson. How are you, sir?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I am good, man. And as I was saying before we went live, wow, what a performance. You really keep looking better and better inside of the cage there. I know you wanted to finish, but you got 15 full minutes inside the cage. Looking back on the fight now, what's the takeaway from this one?
Man, I think there's a lot of takeaways. I think I finally started feeling comfortable striking and showing that I'm a complete mixed martial artist. I'm not just a grappler. You know, I've always boasted about my cardio. I've always boasted about the pace that I can push, and then I go out there and finish them. So I don't really get to show that. Being able to go a hard 15 minutes once again, I think I got to prove that, hey, I am a workhorse. I'm going to outwork everybody. And there's a lot of good takeaways to take from that fight, and I'm happy with the performance.
Did you have a specific game plan going into this fight, or are you just going to kind of adjust as needed?
We knew he was going to be aggressive. We knew he was going to try to come forward. That's why I was ending every combination with knees, calf kicks, and just anything that I could get him to stop his forward pressure. He comes forward, I'm either going to knee, calf kick, or take him down. I feel like I followed the game plan pretty much to a T. And then in the third round, he wasn't coming forward at all, and I knew I could open up with some strikes and show other parts of my game. So I would say everything, other than not getting the finish, everything went according to plan.
Now, outside of your Contender Series fight, you're 4-0 now inside of the octagon. 2 finishes, 2 decision wins. Do you feel like when you get to that third round, and obviously with all the judging controversies that are going on, do you feel a little extra pressure to go in there and turn it up for that last 5 minutes?
Man, I'm always trying to push the same pace. I'm trying to finish you in round 1 and round 5. I'm not thinking about the judges when we're in the middle of a fight. I'm thinking about doing as much damage as possible, winning as many takedowns, winning as many exchanges, getting to better positions, and landing more ground and pound. I feel if I do all of those things and I don't get the finish, the decision will go my way. And if it doesn't, I did everything I could. I was very, very confident going into that third round. There was no way you could give him the first 2 rounds. And then I believe I dominated the third round as well.
Yeah, I mean, on my scorecard, you were up 2-0 going into that third round for what it's worth. What did James tell you before the third round started? Did he tell you to just kind of keep that pressure, keep the pace up, or did he feel you were up 2-0?
He said, we're up 2-0, but it doesn't count unless we get a finish. And I know what that means. He's just trying to push me. He's trying to get me to be the best, the best Grant Dawson I can be. Obviously, the win still counts, even though we didn't get the finish. But he's always trying to push me to do better in every round. So he told me we're up 2-0, but don't let off the gas pedal. And, we went out. I did everything I could to get a finish. I was throwing flying knees. I was swinging with everything that I had to get the finish. But, you can't finish everybody in this sport, especially at this high level. 30-27, 30-26, and 29-27. We'll take it.
Yeah. Now, he did land a big shot there in the third. I believe you said in the post-fight interview that you were wobbled a little bit. How hurt were you?
It wasn't that I was hurt. It was that my decision-making started to get a little confused. I'm really good in high-pressure situations, making the right call and the right decision. At the beginning of the first round, I kicked him, hurt my foot, fell over, and got up and made the split-second decision to throw a flying knee into the midair and hit him right on his jaw. I'm really good at those. Do I shoot? Do I jump? Do I spin off? Making the right decisions, and I just couldn't make the right decision. I was confused for a second, and I ended up fitting in, grabbing a leg and pushing him against the cage. I was about to take him down, and then I heard my coach say 3 seconds, and I was like, I'm just gonna hold here. No, don't take any risks. Don't, accidentally knock yourself out getting a takedown or something like that. But, everybody, a lot of people online were talking about how he hit me with the last 30 seconds. And, this is a fist fight. So, yeah, he hit me with the last 30 seconds. Our punch count was 211 to 56. So I would say that's a pretty good discrepancy there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And again, very, very impressive performance. When you compare this fight to your other decision win in the UFC against Julian Erosa, which one was more difficult?
Julian Erosa is the toughest fight I've had in my career. I was coming off of a long layoff. I was a lot younger. I underestimated him slightly, and he was definitely a lot better than I thought he was. I would say that Julian is the toughest fight that I have had so far. So Julian, absolutely. Now, I'm not saying that if we fought again, I wouldn't be able to put him away or make him look silly, because things have definitely changed since then.
God bless you.
Thank you.
What did you think of his performance against Sean Woodson? Did you get a chance to check that out?
Yeah, Sean's my teammate. I had Julian down 2-0, and I had Sean winning the fight pretty handily, and he just got caught, man. You got to give all the respect to Julian. If you're going to lose a fight, that's the guy to lose to. Julian lives the life. There's not a lot of fighters that live the fight life. He's one of them, He cuts weight every weekend just to make sure that he's ready to fight if the UFC needed somebody. That's dedication. That's almost psychopathic dedication. He's a good guy. He's very skilled. He's very underrated for how good he is. I do think Sean Woodson is better. I do think Sean is going to have the brighter future, but Julian was better that night.
I'm a big fan of Sean Woodson. Have you guys ever noticed that he kind of looks like the NBA player, the former NBA player, Tayshaun Prince? Has anybody ever noticed that at the gym?
No, I don't think I really watch basketball. So
okay, all right. Well, I figure maybe somebody had said something, because the resemblance is a little uncanny. You should check that out once we get off the interview. Now, I do.
I'm gonna check that out now. That's crazy. I can't put a face to him right now.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think the height discrepancy is a little significant, but aside from that, I do want to backtrack a little bit. I understand, Grant, that there was a lack of sleep leading up to the fight. Fighters, coaches, they weren't really sleeping that well, before the actual fights took place. How did that affect you?
I slept great. I weighed in at 5 on Friday, ate until 10 o'clock, went to bed at 10, woke up, trained, ate all day, went to bed at 7, woke up at 1, went and fought. I don't know what they're talking about. I slept great. Whatever. One of the things I told my coaches, because we were kind of worried about the time difference and the heat and all this stuff, and I told James, I said, James, give me 2 hours of sleep and a good warm meal, and I'll fight anybody as long as you want me to. So I'm not worried about, time changes or the moon being in the right place or these stars having to align. I'm a fighter. If somebody's going to mug me at 2 a.m., I'm not going to tell them it's too early to be mugged. I'm going to fight my ass off. So, we get in there and we fight.
How was your overall experience at Yas Island? I mean, it looked beautiful. I know you guys had a lot of privacy. No one could just walk right into your bubble, so to speak. When you look back at it now, is it something, you'll look back and smile at, obviously outside of just the win?
Yeah, I wish I could have seen more of it. We weren't allowed to leave the hotel, really. We were pretty much stuck in the hotel. The hotel was gorgeous. That's what I can tell you. The hotel was absolutely gorgeous. I loved everything about the setup. The venue was amazing. The production was amazing. Everything was great. I just wish we could have seen a little more. We were in the richest city in the world, and I didn't get to go see any of it. I was stuck in a hotel, but I understand what's going on. I understand everything. So I'm very happy with the trip.
Yeah, I'm up here in New England, and I talked to Tyson Chartier quite a bit. He's Calvin Cater's manager, and they were going like drag racing outside. There was like a track right there. You guys didn't get a chance to do that at all?
My teammate Tim Elliott and my coach James Kraus did. They went and they did those drag races things. That kind of stuff doesn't really interest me, and it was really, really hot out, so I decided to opt out to go to bed. But they said it was awesome, and I'll take their word for it.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, the big thing that everyone's talking about with you is the weight class issue and what you're going to do moving forward. You've made it pretty clear it's a significant cut for you to get down to featherweight, and you said you want to be a company man and fight, what makes sense here moving forward at lightweight. So, as far as that goes, what is that cut typically like for you? What do you usually walk around at?
A lot heavier than 45. Let's just leave it at that. I'm big, man. I am a very large 45er. I don't think they get much bigger than I do, and I'm still young. I'm growing every day. If you look at my body now and my body when I fought Erosa, completely different. If you look at my body now from my last fight, like I just keep getting bigger. I keep packing on more muscle. I keep packing on more size, and I enjoy my food. So I think just making quality of life a little bit better would be to move up to 155. And like you said, I want to be a company man. I want to be able to take, 4 or 5 fights in a year span, and I can't do that at 145. But at 155, especially with this pandemic going on, they need people to step up and they need people to take fights for them. I want to be that guy. I want them to be able to call me and say, hey, we need a 55er that can take this fight on 3 weeks' notice. Can you do it? And the answer is yes, not I need 10 to 12 weeks to make weight.
You've made it very clear in the past too. You want to be a world champion one day. That is your goal. When you look at the fighters, the top echelon fighters at lightweight, how do you feel you stack up right now, and how far away do you think you'd be from maybe cracking that top 10 at 155 when you do make that transition fully to lightweight?
Man, I think that I can compete with anybody God ever made at 155 or 145 right now. And if you look at my performances, go back and watch my fights. Every single fight, no matter the distance between them, I get better and I'm showing better skills and I'm getting better here and I'm getting bigger and I'm getting stronger and my game is just completely coming around. I think I can win a world title at 155. I still have my eye on that world title at 145, but what makes sense right now is 155, and we're going to do that and until unless something changes drastically, 155 is going to be my weight class, and I still plan on winning a world title at it.
Mm-hmm. When you look at someone like Khabib or Gaethje, what makes them so dangerous? Obviously, outside of just their natural skill set at 155, like how do they? What makes them different than some of the other fighters at 155 that you might be fighting here in the near future?
I mean, they're the top level. When I look at the Gaethje fight, the Gaethje and Khabib fight, I say to myself, man, the only person that can beat Gaethje right now is Khabib. And then I say the only person that can beat Khabib is Gaethje. They're just so far ahead of everybody right now. The difference is Khabib has talked about being done. Khabib has talked about, I want to get to 30-0 and be done. That's 2 more fights. I don't think Khabib's going to be fighting me in his 29th fight or his 30th fight. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, by the time I break the top 15, by the time I break the top 10, by the time I break the top 5, those guys and that whole top 15 is going to be completely different. And who cares if they're not? If it's Khabib, when I'm ready to fight for the title, then it's Khabib. If he's 60-0 by the time I'm ready to fight for that title, then he's going to be 60-1. It's not about who can you beat right now. It's about who can you beat in 10 years. And I'm just getting better. I'm super young. Things are playing out for me, and I'm growing every fight. I can't wait to see what I'm like when I'm 25-1.
Oh, well, I'm excited to see what is next for you. Another thing, Grant, that you said in the past that I thought was really interesting, you talked about going to that dark place. You're kind of channeling your inner GSP a little bit. When you talk about that, is there like a switch that you flip, or is that something that you can go there rather easily?
Man, I would say most of my teammates take me to that dark place quite a bit. We get into that. We get into those grueling rounds, and you're like, man, only a couple of seconds left, and you look over and there's 4 minutes left, and you're like, oh, geez. And so you just got to make a decision. That's what that dark place that I'm talking about is. You gotta make that decision that, hey, this is happening. There's no way out. You got to accept it. And I think that training with such high quality guys really helps me in there, and I believe that I can thrive in there. So when I fight, my goal is to get to that dark place as soon as possible, to pull them in there and see how comfortable they are.
I said to you before we went live here, I just interviewed your teammate, and I think he's your main training partner, Kevin Kroom. He's got a fight right around the corner. Are you going to be there cornering him come fight night with James?
Absolutely, man. Kevin is he's not just my main training partner. He's probably my best friend. We've been grinding together for the last, couple of years now. Man, the dude, he's so experienced. He's so good. He's submitted me more than anybody else this year. I keep track of everybody who submits me year by year. He's submitted me more than anybody else. He's a savage, man. And I'm tired of getting my ass kicked by a guy who's not in the UFC. So I'm pushing to get him into the UFC. I'm pushing for them to sign him. He's an absolute savage, and he deserves nothing but being in the UFC. And to answer your question, yes, I will be in his corner. I'm always going to be in his corner as long as he'll have me. And I think that he's going to absolutely run through this guy on FAC. I think he's going to get that title. Nice belt wrapped around his waist on Fight Pass, and I think he'll get signed afterward.
Yeah. So I was just going to ask, you don't feel like he's going to go the route that you went in Contender Series? I mean, he's 20-12. He's been around for a long time. You feel like he should be able to just get signed outright?
Yeah, either or. You decide. The thing about Kroom is he can make 145 on a week's notice, and it's not because he's small. It's because he's disciplined. The dude is a lot like we were just talking about Erosa. He is ready to make weight every week just in case. He gets his blood work done constantly just in case. The man lives the fight life 100%. And I would say that, whether it is Contender Series or signed right away, he's going to be ready. And I feel bad for the guy that has to fight him. The dude is an absolute animal.
He seems like a really fun guy to be around too. Does he add a certain level of excitement and just joy to the training room when he's around?
Man, it's hard to be anything but ecstatic and happy and bubbly around him. He's got such a fun personality. He's so much fun to have. I have him over at my house all the time. We watch the fights together all the time. He's so happy all the time, and he's just genuinely a good person. Genuinely, there's a lot of people out there that can give and take, and he just gives. He gives. He's always there for me in my camps. He's always there. Anything I need, I can call him day or night. He's such a good person, a genuinely good human being, and I cannot wait to see him in the UFC.
Very cool. I hope that does happen for Mr. Kruma. I'm a big fan of watching him compete as well. Now, Grant, Glory MMA and Fitness, you guys are slowly, or I guess I shouldn't say slowly, very quickly becoming one of the best gyms in the country, in the world, really, for that matter. Tell me, what makes James Kraus such a good coach? We know he's a great fighter, but why is he such a good coach?
Man, there's a couple of things. There's a couple of layers to that question. There's a good coach, and then there's a good cornerman. There's lots of great coaches, and there's lots of great cornermen, and there's not a lot of people that can do both. And James does both so well. He's not just coaching you. He can coach you through, there have been plenty of fights that I've been in where he has literally, I didn't know what to do, and he has just coached me through the middle of a war to victory. And he breaks everything down, and he's so open to learning. A lot of things that one of the things that separates him from other coaches is most coaches are done fighting, and they think they know best, and they're like, it's this way because that's the way that I did it when I was fighting. And it's like, well, you haven't fought in 9 years. The game has kind of changed. James fights, at least twice a year. So he sees the game evolve and he sees it change, and then he brings it to us. And one of the things that I pride myself on is learning from other people's mistakes. And that's one thing that he does is he makes the mistakes and then he fixes them. And I don't necessarily mean in a fight. I just mean, he'll see what other mistakes people are making or mistakes that he's made in the past, and he can fix them, and he can fix them for us. He's, and not to mention how smart the dude is. He's so intelligent when it comes to business, fighting, and coaching. And he is the reason that I stay at Glory. Obviously, I think that he is the most underrated coach in the world. And I think that pretty soon here, within the next 2 years, we're going to have quite a few high-level guys coming to us and learning from him.
Yeah, very cool. Now, does he have his next fight lined up yet? And if not, I guess I haven't seen it if he does, but if not, is he getting ready for one? I got to imagine he's got to be stepping back in there at some point soon.
I'm not sure what he wants to do fight-wise. I haven't heard anything. He usually keeps me in the loop about that kind of stuff. But I don't think that he has something lined up yet. I think that he's helping because we've got a couple of more guys getting ready for their UFC fights that he's helping prepare. And then we have FAC coming up. Kevin's on that one that we talked about earlier. I think he's just helping others right now. But I do know that he will fight before the year is over.
Very cool. Now, Kevin did tell me that you guys stayed active during the pandemic, and he was working out a lot in his garage. What was the pandemic like for you? Did it slow your training down? And just tell me what, I guess, your day-to-day life was like during that time.
Nothing ever slows my training down. Heartbreak, pandemics, tragedies, nothing slows my training down. I train twice a day, every single day, whether that was in my garage or I have a key to the gym and the gym was closed, but I got to bring in a couple of partners. And from where we're at, it wasn't so bad. They said as long as you're under 10 people, you can have a group under 10 people. So, you know, I got 9 of my training partners together, Kevin included, and we trained. Tragedy, heartbreak, pandemic, nothing slows me down, man.
Mm-hmm. I know you said you were going to have some ice cream with your girlfriend when you got back to the States. What flavor did you get?
What did we have? We had vanilla chocolate chip.
Okay, yeah.
Well, good. I still have. I'm gonna have a bowl when I'm done here. You know what? Screw it.
You know what? I think you deserved it. All of the hard work and the W's you've put in so far in the UFC. Last question for me before I let you go, Grant. When would you get back in the cage next? When are you hoping to fight next? And is there someone that you'd like to call out or a fighter that you think would make sense for your next matchup?
We're planning on fighting in September. I don't know if it's Vegas or Abu Dhabi, but September is the date that we are looking for. And as for an opponent, I'll fight anybody, but I got my eye on this man named Austin Hubbard. I think that would be a good fight. He's coming off of a win against Max something, and I think that's the fight that I'm going to be going after.
Very nice. Well, I would love to see you and Austin Hubbard inside of the octagon. That would be a great matchup as well. I really appreciate you taking the time to join me here today. And if there's anyone you'd like to thank or any social media you'd like to plug, the floor is yours.
I just want to thank my team, obviously. I know we've talked about him a lot, but my man Kevin Kroom, he really did help me so much in this fight, training with me every day, 3 times a day. The man's a savage. I also want to thank my teammate John O'Brien and Devin Weber. They both got fights coming up, and I'm super excited for them.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, my friend, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.